Okay, I'm just not gonna no bullshit with this. I'm probably not gonna put this on public. If I do, it's not gonna be there for long. Probably just gonna put this as unlisted. But yeah, I'm sure you guys know what the fuck is going on in the world right now. That's dumb enough on its own. But I just need to talk about this shit. Like I'm not doing this so people like feel bad for me and shit. I'm doing this because I need to say this stuff out loud. I haven't really done that. Or if I have, I've done it in a way that isn't all the way true or all the way what I should have. So I'm just doing this to like get this out there and say this shit out loud. How do I start this? The main Discord server I'm in got really active last night for the first time in a while, which was awesome. And we started talking about like crushes we regret. I was thinking about making this video anyway, but that like put this into motion for real. So if I do put this on unlisted, only a very small amount of people are gonna see it, and that very small amount of people know me very well. So I'm sure you guys know that I don't really like get really into having a crush on someone easy. I'll say like, oh yeah, I like that person. I think that person's really attractive, but I never in my life had I really like gone for anything before. Never had I like liked anybody enough to where I felt I'm gonna do something about it. Until it's May now. About last October, I started liking this girl, and I got really into it, and probably for the first time ever, I had like a legitimate crush on someone. And yeah, so and like I thought I had a legitimate shot. Like everyone was telling me, everything was telling me like she might actually like me back. So this went on for a while. I didn't actually start like talking to her a lot until the end of November. And after that, I thought, oh wow, like this is really good. I like talking to her a lot. I like this person a lot, and it just got worse from there. I say worse because I already didn't give a shit about a lot of stuff in my life at that point. Like you guys know, I didn't care about school that much. Swimming was never really a big interest to me. So this is something like I actually legitimately cared about. So I got really into it to the point where I stopped caring about almost everything else. Everything else in my life just seemed like filler for me to get to the point where I could talk to her and interact with her. Like, it got to the point where I just didn't, I hated going to school, or I hated doing anything that wasn't talking to her. And that's not good. Like, it should be obvious, but that's not a good spot to be in. That's not something that you want. But I got to that point, and it was like that for a long time. And because that was pretty much the only thing I cared about at the time, any little movement that happened made my emotions change drastically. Any little thing that she did. Sorry, my dog started barking, but yeah, every little thing that she did just made the impact it had on me was multiplied by 10 because it was the only thing I really cared about. And that's extremely unhealthy. That was a terrible thing. Like, for example, this was mistake number one. This should have been the first time that I should have just not done this at all. She had been like talking to this other guy for like 2 years or so, but some people said like nothing's happened yet. It's not gonna happen, so you're fine. Just keep going. Which obviously I agreed with because I didn't want to convince myself to not do it anymore. But like there was this one time where she was on my. I'm not gonna say like where I know her from, but whatever. We're on the fucking club swimming together, and we were practice one day, and she was talking about like leaving practice early to go ask that guy to a dance at school. Granted, that could be nothing. That could be like no big deal at all. But because I was in that state, that had such massive impact on my life at the time. Like just seeing someone be excited that much about someone else It sounds stupid, but like that shit hurts. That hurts bad. Like just seeing someone be excited about someone, even though like what are you gonna do about it? You can't do anything. You can't just come out and be like, oh, I like you more than he does. I bet I'd be better. Like that's not gonna help you at all. It's not gonna do anything. So all you can do is just like just sit back and listen to that, and you don't want to do that either. So it's not fun. That shit hurt. And that happened once or twice, but I kept getting signs that like I had a chance still. Like I got her this little pin thing, and I gave it to her, and she said she liked it a lot. And like later that day, she sent me a video of it like on a little thing by her bed or something. She's like, "Oh wow, that's a really good sign. That's amazing." And it got to the point where I asked her out, and at least what I thought was on a date. She said yes, and we went. Like it was really fun. She said she had a good time. And it was really fun. Like, but then 2 days after that, her best friend comes up to me on the swim team. She's like, "Hey, do you like this person?" I was like, "Yeah, I thought I made that pretty obvious at this point." She's like, "Yeah, I thought so too, but apparently she didn't. She doesn't know at all." Fuck you mean she doesn't know? What? What is that? How? She's like, I don't know, dude. She's really clueless, but I don't know if she likes you. I hope she does. That's one thing I was really lucky about. Like through this whole thing, her best friend was on my side, so that was pretty cool. My side as opposed to the other dude that I was talking about earlier. Not like her. Obviously, she's gonna go with her if she had to choose, but still, that was cool. Didn't come to much, but still. So it got to the point where like her best friend pretty much had to convince her that I liked her, and at that point, she just completely ignored me. Like I saw her in person once after that, before the whole lockdown thing started, and she just didn't talk to me at all. And even if like I tried to text her, talk to her on Snapchat or something, it's so excessively dry and extremely like doesn't want to be talking to me. So yeah, that got me real down because I was still at the point where nothing else really mattered to me. I was still at the point where I didn't really want to do anything else. But now that was gone. So I was not in a very good state at that point. But eventually I got over it, and that's kind of what's going to be part two of this. Is something that helped me get over it. That hindsight, again, I shouldn't have done at all. But that makes it sound like it's drugs. It's not drugs. It's a person. That also sounds bad, but not my point. Anyway, but yeah, that was the first time I'd really gotten invested in, like, actually invested in someone to the point where I actually, like, wanted to do something about it, and they didn't even know. Like, they didn't even think about it in that way, so that was real shitty for sure. Sorry. Yeah. That ended early March, so not that long ago, and that was right when high school swim season was really starting up. And obviously, I was feeling really down. I didn't want to go to club swim team practice because of the other person, so I started going to high school practice a lot, which normally I wouldn't do, but in this case I did. The fuck? Okay. I got a fucking full ass beard damn near from all this shit. That's not the point. So I started going to high school swim practice a lot, and there was someone there who was like an attractive person, and it was, at least I thought at the time, it was weird how she was like paying attention to me so much, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but I think you guys get what I mean. Anyway, she's just going out of her way to be with me instead of anyone else. And that felt good at the time, obviously, because I didn't feel like that normally at that time. So that was cool. And at first I thought, okay, yeah, I can just like kind of talk to her about it. Not talk to her about it, but just like talk to her. Maybe that'll help me like get over the last thing. At that time, I definitely didn't want any kind of relationship with her for a number of outside reasons. But people told me like, oh, she actually kind of likes you. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'm probably not gonna do anything about that for a bunch of different reasons, but that's cool to know, I guess. But I really couldn't help myself, man. Right when lockdown started, I was like, okay, I didn't talk to her on social media at all when lockdown started. So I was like, okay, I'm never going to talk to her again. I'm going to college soon. Never going to interact with her in my life. But I couldn't help myself. Like, I couldn't help, like, I was still kind of getting over that, like, loneliness is a strong word, but that's the one I'm going to use from the last thing. So I kind of felt like I wanted to talk to someone. And obviously, like, I was still talking to the boys and everything. Like, no one's ever going to replace the boys, but I'm sure you guys know, like, as cool as the boys are, there's just a certain part that, sadly, the boys can't fill. That sounds fucked up. That sounds sexual. It's not. Well, it's not. There's just, like, that certain part. Like, talking to the homies is probably the best thing ever. Last night as proof. But, like, there's always going to be that one part of you that wants something more than the homies. As sad as it is, that part tends to be pretty strong. Which is not normally a part of you that you want to give into, because it can lead to a lot of bad things. But it can also lead to a lot of great things, don't get me wrong. But that's not normally a part of you want to let take full control. But that's what I did, because I felt so down about the last thing. So I started talking to her, and at first it was great. Like, she was kind of, like, she's super energetic, super smiley all the time, and I liked it. And I didn't really like her too much, but, like, it was enjoyable to talk to her. And then I got super invested in it. And yeah, I got really invested in it, and obviously not much I can do in lockdown. Also, I waited way too long to do anything. Sorry if my voice is kind of weird at this point. This ended like, I don't have a watch, I don't know. This ended like 5 or 6 days ago, so this is still kind of fresh. I say ended it like we stopped talking. She literally just sent me something as I said that, so we're still talking, but not. You'll see. So I got really, really invested in it. Again, it was like all the This sounds bad, but it was like all the leftover emotion I had from the last thing. I kind of moved it over to this, so I started liking her a lot when I really shouldn't have. She's a great person. She's really attractive and all, but like I shouldn't have gotten myself into this situation. And it got to the point where I was like complimenting her, and she like took it really well at most points. But then it got to but like there was always kind of a hint, like she would never be super straight with an answer or with like a response when I would get like that. It's like I would say something about her. Like hypothetically, if I sent a snap with like 2 things, and one of them was like a compliment or something, and the other thing was something completely different, she would kind of ignore the compliment and just talk about the other thing. Like, she would say, like, oh, thank you, but then, like, just go on about the other thing and shift the conversation to that. Which, yes, was my fault for including both. I'll take that. But it just made me more curious and made me want to do it more to actually get, like, a clear answer of do I have a chance or not. And long story short, I didn't. I told her straight up that I liked her. What? Asshole. That sounds bad. I was calling my dog an asshole for barking. I do not mean to include that word in the last sentence. Anyway. Excuse me. I told her straight up I liked her, and I still didn't really get a clear answer. The only thing I got was, like, I typed this whole thing out, and the only thing she said back was, wow. That's it. Which, at that point, I thought, okay, this is done. I tried, it didn't work, but I don't have to talk to her ever again. That was wrong. She kept talking to me, like, initiating conversations. every day. Why is beyond me. But yeah, that hurt for a while, of being like, I told her I liked her. Clearly she doesn't like me back, or she would have said something other than wow. But now she's still acting almost the same as before. Which, yeah. And then I went on TikTok, which was a mistake, and I looked at one of her videos, and it was like, snaps you'd get if we were dating, like a little shit compilation of like snaps she would send to people if she was dating them. And no fucking lie, 4 of them were some of the actual exact ones that she sent me, and just saved and like put it in that video. And the other ones were very, very close to shit she would send me in the beginning. And I noticed that she got less energetic as time went on, but I never really like thought anything about it until I saw that. So then that kind of confirmed in my mind that, okay, there was a point when she liked me, but that point isn't right now. And I think that hurt probably more than anything else, because that like started the internal conversation of like, what about yourself was so off-putting that it made her lose interest like that? Because clearly it wasn't physically. If it was physically, I'd be fine. You can't really change a lot of that. Clearly it wasn't, because she liked me when she barely talked to me, and she saw me in a Speedo. So clearly it wasn't that. So my mind was not great for a long time, like a couple days, 4 days. But it was that internal conversation of like, what about me is wrong? What about my personality is off-putting to the point where it made this person not enjoy talking to me anymore, and not like me anymore? And that, you can't answer that question. Like, there's no answer. You can't answer that question to yourself, so it's just like your own internal fuckery. Like, every time you ask that question to yourself, you're gonna feel shitty. And you can't answer that question, and that's the only thing you're thinking about. So, it's just like this endless cycle of bullshit. Yeah. And the worst part, that was the worst part, my bad. But like, again, recently, she started getting like super energetic again, like talking to me like pretty much back to normal when we first started talking. But I have to constantly convince myself, like, you can't get into this. You can't look into this too much, because it's not gonna work. You know that. You tried. It didn't work. So don't try again. Don't do that. And that's a hard thing to do. Like, when someone's talking to you so energetically like that, and someone you think is super attractive, and you have to convince yourself not to make anything of it, or not to do anything about it, after wanting to and doing it for a while, it's not easy. And it leads to like a lot of bad feeling shit. So that's how I've been feeling for the past 4 or 5 days. Or whenever I put that last video up with like that weird fucking K-pop song and all the text that I made on Instagram, my last video I put up, it has like 3 likes or 4 likes or some shit. That's the pain I was talking about at the end, is this shit. Is just feeling like, this is kind of off topic, but not really, but like, humans have such a strange desire to have their feelings reciprocated. Like, if you care about someone a lot, you want nothing more than for that person to care about you also, in the same way. And when you don't feel that, when you get so invested, this whole dog is ruining the mood of this entire fucking video. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So when you care about someone so much, and you find out that they don't care about you in the same way, and there's nothing you can do about it, it's one of the worst feelings you can have. And I like having this back to back double kill bullshit happen, but in different scenarios. Like, it really makes you think. Because, like, the first time, with the first call I talked about at the beginning, there's nothing I could have done, really. The second one, there might have been something I could have done, but maybe not, but definitely more so than the first one. And that was got me thinking, like, which one was worse? Because the first one, no matter what I did, it would have happened bad. So I wasted like 5 months. I got so invested in something, and there was nothing I could have done to make it right. But then the second one, knowing there might have been something I could do to change this, but it didn't happen. I don't really know. Yeah. That's pretty much it for the story, I think. Except, no, I touched on that, yeah. So, yeah, I just really needed to, like, say that. Because I've been feeling like garbage the last couple days. Last night definitely helped with getting to tell at least the first part of the story on Discord. Granted, I didn't tell it as in depth as I think I just did. I hope I just did. But, yeah. There's gonna be things that I'm not gonna know ever. Because, like, looking back on that first one, there were... Like, I could pretty much explain all of the behavior that I thought was signs that she liked me. With her just being, like, a good friend or a good person. Except for that date. Like, the way she acted there. It was completely, like, unnormal of her, normal behavior. Plus a bunch of other things. So I still can't explain that. But I really just needed to say this shit out loud. Because pretty much up until the middle of yesterday and last night, I've been feeling like garbage. Like, it's that whole ass thing of, like, what's wrong with myself? Like, this personality I've built. You guys know this shit. I've acted like this, but just progressively more over, like, 8 years. So what about that is so off-putting? And obviously you can't answer that question yourself. But you want an answer because you don't want it to happen again. You kind of need to know what's wrong with you, per se. So you can try and at least mediate it so the same thing doesn't happen again. But there's no way for you to know unless someone else tells you. And that's going to hurt more than anything. And that's going to hurt a lot more than most things too. So sometimes you don't want an answer. You know if you get an answer, it'll hurt. And you know if you never get an answer, it could also hurt a lot too. So yeah, that's a happy Friday morning story time. Obviously, it sounds pretty dumb in hindsight, but this was like the first time I had gotten really invested in anyone, let alone two people back to back like that. And yeah, I've been feeling real bad the last couple of days. I've not been eating nearly as much as I normally do. I don't sleep too much, except for last night. You just have that feeling, like, just coupled with the lockdown quarantine bullshit feeling. Like, nothing's interesting. Like, there's nothing you want to do. But I've been feeling better yesterday. So hopefully I think this helps too, just saying it out loud. I don't want people to, like, I'm not doing this so people will be like, oh, I'm so sorry, dumb shit. I don't care about that. I just need to say this out loud, and I need people to know this. Not so they can, like, comfort me about it, but just so, I don't know, just so, like, I put this out there now. It's done, I think. Don't say that, Jesus. Like, it's over. And now, like, I'm saying this stuff. I haven't said this stuff out loud to anybody before. Right now. Like this. So this, I think, helped. Sucked, yeah. The whole thing sucked. But that's how shit goes. Jesus. Yeah. Sounds really, really dumb when I think about it, but like, this is the first time I've ever cared about anyone like that. Not to mention, twice. And there were a lot of other factors. Well, not really a lot, but like 2 for the second person. And the first person actually had a crush on my best friend in the middle, but that lasted like a day before he like shut it down because he's my homeboy. He's a great friend, and I guess that's it. Yeah, I just needed to get that out there, so hopefully I feel less like garbage. What day is it? I keep looking at my fucking cable box. Look at this shit. I keep looking over my fucking cable box to see like what day it is. It doesn't tell the fucking day. It's on a calendar. It's a goddamn clock. That says it's 10:12. That doesn't help me at all. I don't know why I keep looking over there. It's Friday. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. Like days or time matters anymore. Yeah, don't get too down with all this shit, cause it's an easy hole to fall down. Trust me. See you next time. I guess. Hopefully I'm gonna start doing this shit more. Not this shit. Not bad shit. Like normal, cool shit. Yeah. See ya.